find ways to learn and to define ourselves. We identify with certain types of people and label ourselves by participating in different activities. According to Katz and Kazansnick, our views are formed based on socialization, or what we learn growing up as children into adolescence. If we learn through our experiences, then how are our views on gender formed? Who tells us that we are male or that we are female? And who tells us what behaviors are socially acceptable for our biological sex? Do the roles of our parents create perceptions of who we are as a boy or as a girl? Because there are many differing opinions regarding gender from everyday people, we decided to ask them ourselves. So we took our small group into a crowded place to see what types of influences created perceptions of gender. Research scholars Katz and Kazansnick wrote about the socialization of children and adolescent people. Their research states that children begin creating their gender at ages as early as 1 year old and continues to develop gendered skills or knowledge until he or she passes into adolescence. We have found that these influences, such as media and parents, have influenced people's gender role expectancies at early ages. Socialization is a key aspect to which we learn. Socialization is a continuing process where an individual acquires a personal identity and learns the norms, values, behaviors, and social skills appropriate to his or her social position. Through observation of others, we define ourselves and try to fit into cultural, social norms. For example, a child interprets household behaviors from parents as normative. Therefore, he or she creates role expectancies for household behaviors that relate to specific gender. He or she has created his or herself by fitting into expected roles.
5 years ago, I probably would have thought differently, that a man is the one who's a provider and takes care of things. But now, since I am doing my master's in psychology and marriage and family therapy, I take on a different role because I feel like I can provide now. It can be to a point where I can make more than him, and that's okay.
According to Mayer and Childs, at early ages we become interested in who others are so that we can form who we are. We consider most of our being as inundated with our family and friends who have already acquired their own gendered roles. But what influenced them? What has inundated their lives, which has influenced our lives, telling us what we want and need? Television and television advertisements create expectancies on the types of people, or more specifically, gender roles which we should relate to as male or female.
Research scholars have said that media strongly affects the way people develop gender roles. According to Shardis and Lammers, research scholars on gender and media, evidence has shown that television programs portray products that are overwhelmingly consistent with sex stereotypes. For girls, evidence has also shown that exposure to television commercials with traditional and sexist role portrayals can lower women's self-confidence and independent judgment. If this is true, through portraying toys in specific ways, the media helps promote sex stereotype behavior and attitudes in boys and girls at very young ages. We found consistent evidence in our interviews that younger boys were more likely to follow gendered stereotypes regarding dolls as being a female toy.
Do you think boys should be able to play with dolls?
Hell no.
Do you think girls should be able to play with mixed gender sports teams?
This created a negative view towards playing with dolls made for girls. In addition, this can ingrain both male and female children with more traditional attitudes towards women's roles in society. We also found that most families were oriented with either two-parent homes or a single-parent homes where the mother supports the family. Many of these roles were consistent with traditional parenting.
More than 20 million kids in the United States live with one parent. One of the largest reasons for children to live with a single-parent home is due to divorce. In other cases, the mom and the dad may have never lived together, or one of them may have died. Living in a one-parent home can change perceptions of gender roles in a child. A child or sibling might live with one parent, a grandparent, or an uncle. However, circumstances may not permit a parent to be at home. Many of the children take care of themselves while a parent works to take care of the family. In our interviews, we found as generations change, the types of household roles change as well. The older people we interviewed seemed to come from a two-parent home, whereas the younger people we interviewed mostly came from a single-parent or divorced home.
Do you live with both of your parents?
No, just my mother.
Half of it was with my mom, the other half was with my grandma.
Well, both my parents until about 10.
My parents?
My parents.
Do they live in the same house?
This type of home has become more of the norm and is confirmed in television shows such as Family Guy and The Simpsons, where the father figure is portrayed as ignorant, therefore creating negative connotations towards male role models and creating strength in women's roles.
With a collapsing family structure, children's perceptions of role expectations change. When we think of the family, we think of mother and father. However, do we consider homosexual families? And how does this type of family influence gender roles? Our research suggests that perceptions of people's ideas pertaining to the gay society have changed with the evolving society and with time as well. Gays have dealt with many years of political struggle and decades of controversy with new policies and new laws trying to change the way that we deal with gays as a society. Many questions also arise concerning families and children.
What about same-sex marriages?
I'm not really against that.
Do you think it's necessary for both male and female genders to raise children?
Yes, I think so.
I think it is necessary for both male and female genders to raise children.
Necessary? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think both genders play a part in the upbringing of children.
Patterson's research shows us that there is no solid evidence stating that homosexual parents raise homosexual children. Homosexuality itself is very minimal in the role that genders play. Through our research, we have found that other factors such as media, family members, school, and society as a whole has a greater impact in the portrayal of gender roles. According to Allen, children growing up in straight family homes are found to have a greater chance of growing homosexual versus those of homosexual homes.
What we found confirmed our research about stereotypes and unveiled emerging perceptions of gender role expectancies.
In our interviews, we found that as generations change, the types of household roles changed.
When we think of the family, we think of mother and father.
We think of certain roles and certain stereotypical roles we must play.
The roles that women play in the household and that men play.
I view men as playing more of the physical things. Women play more of a social role.
So who tells us who we should be? Is it our parents who socialize us and reinforce our roles? Or is it our television that creates stereotypes of gender and reinforce negative images of not only gender, but race and class as well? Try again.
Child. A child or siblings might live with a mother, a father,